We're past
Never mind. I'll show you later. Good morning, everybody. We got to talking and just weren't watching the time at all.
You're like, oh crap, it's showtime.
Good to see everybody this morning. Dennis isn't going to be with us this morning. He was out all night chasing the bad guys. So he just got home this morning, and he's going to go to bed, I think, which is probably a good thing. But Dennis Steve and Jerry and Bill's here with us. Bill's going to be leaving early too, by the way, so we'll get Bill on here in a minute. Shannon might join us. I gave him the link to it. Let's see if he shows up. I don't know if he's going to show up or not. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, we are here this morning. So Steve, tell us who's here besides us.
Man, we were so busy talking, and Claude was going to go get something. He goes, oh crap, it's showtime. Anyway, good morning. Let me see, because I haven't even looked at this morning. We got Rob T-Man. Good morning, Rob. Roy Hardwick. Hey, good morning, Roy. How are you? Michael McCarville, Steve Childers, Dave DES Multimedia, Gerald Stewart, Floyd Robbins, John Tanzillo. Good morning, John. Joe Rader, Steve Anderson, Mark Pruitt. Good morning, Mark. Ray Bertelson. Good morning, Ray. Joe, I said Joe Rader, didn't I? We got Chuck. Good morning, Chuck. How are you? Steve Childers. We got JD, Sparky. Good morning, Sparky. How are you? Let's see who else we got here. Did I see Lynn McCurdy? I think I said that. If I missed somebody, I'm sure I missed somebody. I always do. Anyway, good morning, guys.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everybody.
As I said, Bill's going to have to leave early, so we're going to let him tell us whatever he's going to tell us because he's got some news.
Oh yeah, lead off on my adventures here that are nonstop. So from last week, last week was in hotel back in Iowa. Just got back here to Virginia yesterday. I do have a video coming out at the end of this show looking at Railroad Museum in Owine, Iowa. Kind of a walkthrough tour again. You'll see some stuff on that. Spent latter part of Saturday at Boostop Hobbies. And of course, even though I'm going to be moving, doing stuff in Thailand, I came home with a big box of stuff. Just all different scales, N scale, HO, O. So some of that will show in other videos. But while I was out in Iowa, I was talking, that I was going to look for a house. So I did a bunch of drive-bys on listings because I wanted to go cheap. I wanted to be under 100,000 if I could. Did a bunch of drive-bys that is like, no, you get what you pay for. The houses on the realtor apps looked nice, but they didn't show the sides of the house where fascia had rotted and fallen off, or north facing side of one house. It looked kind of nice, but it was like totally green and black with mold. I probably figured that wouldn't be a good thing. So I had just about given up, but earlier in the week, I was going to go up to the Mason City area. That's where a couple of the kids live. I was going to go up and try to see them. And on the way up, I got thinking, there was another city along the way that had a couple of listings, and I hadn't contacted any realtor, and I thought, what the hell? I'll go in. It's a small city, about 4,000 people, 5,000. And I stopped at the realtor's office and got talking about the one. He said, well, we got two listings. We got this one that you're looking at, and then there's another one. And I said, yeah, let's go look at the first one. We did, and had a nice big garage and everything, but it definitely looked like a house from about 1900. It was just not it. So I turned to the realtor. It's like, where's the other one? Hadn't even seen it, hadn't looked on it on Zillow or anything. Went up to it, and it was like, yeah, this has potential because the house is nice. It's got a 1-stall attached garage, but right beside that was a new 2.5-stall detached garage. Yes, double doors, space on the side for like workshop. And I'm like, yeah. So we went in. The house was really nice, an old ranch style. It's a little bit younger than I am. Partially finished basement, beautiful fireplace in the basement. you know, it needs some paint, it needs to have like some holes in the wall patched up where they'd hung pictures, cosmetics. Then we go into the garage, and the garage is like, ah. The rafters in this garage are 1 foot on center. I mean, this thing is built to withstand a nuclear bomb blast. It's
Iowa snow.
inside, it's like all open space. The only thing that I've got to do to it is I've got to run electricity. They never put electricity into it. So it's a beautiful garage, but you can only use it during the daylight the way they have it now. So that's going to be the first thing. I close on this place at the end of the month, so a little over a week, and I'll pay cash. I will have no mortgage. It's a little bit higher than 100,000. I got it. They had it listed at 129. Originally, it was 134. They went down. I offered 122. 3 hours later, they accepted, and boom, we're off to get this done. So it's big enough in the garage. These layouts, I'm going to figure out some way to take them with me so that I can have them in there. The house here in Virginia is now on the market. And in fact, it's going to be shown here before the show ends. Hence, I've got to leave early. I already had some people looking at it yesterday, and there's some already scheduled for later today and tomorrow. And it hasn't even been listed on the apps yet. It's just word of mouth already getting out. So this place is going to sell quick. So I got to get my crap out and to this new place, you know, in the next couple of weeks. But it's like, that's kind of where I'm at. And then the house in Thailand is, and I see the question, the house in Thailand is coming along nicely. I got some pictures, but I didn't have time to send them to you, Claude, maybe for next week. So the house in Iowa will be the vacation house. That's where I go when I travel, even from here. That's where the kids are. That's where my friends are that are around that I've known for years and years and years. I grew up there. I've got family still there. I've got, that's where the graves are of my mother, father, sister. It's got Caboose Stop Hobbies where I've hung out for like 30 freaking years that they've been open. So the house in Iowa is going to be the vacation home. I can fly into Mason City, Iowa from Chicago. Chicago goes direct, has direct flights to Doha, the Qatar, which is where I'm flying to now, and then from there to Bangkok. So it's going to save me money. I will have no mortgage on this house anymore. It'll pay off. It'll pay off enough where the ex can get her place. I can pay off the other house that I'm buying. All I'll have is taxes and a little bit of utilities. And if I were to come back to here, I need rental car, hotels, all of that stuff. I don't need it anymore. I go to Iowa. So it's like it's a win-win situation all the way around for me. So, you know, you're going to have videos for me where it's Bill in Virginia yet for a while, Bill in Thailand, and Bill in Iowa. So that's going to be the stuff that's going to be happening for me over the while.
You sound pretty excited, Bill.
I am.
Yeah.
And the house in Thailand, which it is definitely looking like a house. I've got pictures of it. The kitchen's going in. The kitchen sink is going in. Counters need work. You know, it's really progressing, and actually it looks really good. Definitely that's going to be the living quarters, and I'll figure out space in the other one. So everything is coming along fine. I'm still hoping within the next probably 3 weeks to be back in Thailand for months before coming back stateside in the spring, because I'll come back to do taxes, because I'll have everything here. So I'll definitely be back before April. But that's where we're sitting here. I got all kinds of fun stuff in the mix right at the moment.
I got a question about your double car, your new double stall garage that's no electricity. Is the inside finished with walls with
it's just
so
I can finish it. So
okay, so you can put your electric inside and then finish your walls. Okay.
Yep. And that's what I'll have them come in, put the drops, put in several banks of lights, individually controlled lights again over an area that I'll make as a workshop. I'll have them put in outlets. I'll have them put in a couple of 220 outlets, because eventually I'd love to get hold of a unisaw again and some other bigger power equipment. Got my shop smith and all of the small stuff, but having 220 is going to be beneficial. Then the realtor had a good idea, and he knows a company that does like spray foam insulation. So I get all the electric in, they can come in, spray foam the walls,
Yeah.
put drop ceiling. I could put in, sort of a small, get air conditioning like what I got in Thailand, like the higher has
Yeah.
a unit inside, the compressor
cool.
outside, put in electric baseboard heat. And I've got a nice space that if I'm back during the winter, I can go out there and I can have fun.
But some mini splits do heat and air, so keep that in mind too.
Yeah.
And suggestion, Bill, for when you do, after you get it insulated and all your wiring in and everything, instead of putting up drywall, don't go drywall. Go OSB or some other kind of plywood. It's a little more expensive, but you can hang stuff anywhere you want.
Yeah. I wouldn't do drywall. I've done that before in a workshop I had in Iowa, and it was a pain.
Yeah,
I hate
it ends up not being good.
Yeah, it would be OSB. I've worked with OSB a lot, and yeah, you're right. You can put shelves, you can put, you can attach pegboard with a little gap spacer. You can do everything, and you're able to attach it anywhere you want it.
Yeah, I told the builder when we built this house 10 years ago that that's what I wanted in my shop out there when we had to incorporate that. And he looked at me really funny. He goes, "You don't want it sheetrock?" I said, "No, OSB." I said, "Don't even bother painting it. I'll paint it." And he looked at me, "Carell, why do you want OSB?" I said, "Because it's going to be my shop. I'm going to be able to hang stuff wherever I want. So the ceiling, everything's OSB in there."
Yeah, mine
And
is
it made
too.
it so much easier
Yeah.
to put stuff in. The only thing you have to watch for, if you've got any plumbing out there, you've got to watch for that. And of course, your electrical pass-throughs, they'll have that covered anyway, so you can't run a nail or screw through it. But yeah, it's so much handier to do that in a shop environment.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I'm going to have shelves to display trains. I'm going to have shelves with trains running. There's a lot of things that I can do out here. And I've got the single stall garage that's attached to the house. Hell, maybe I'll even put the Jeep inside once in a while, or maybe that'll be my garden shop area. Although the yard is really small, which anymore, you know what? I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And most of the grass that I've got, I'm going to get rid of anyway. I'll dig it out like I did here and have like planting areas with hostas and stuff that grows easily so that I have even less to mow. So when I'm gone and I have a local company come and mow the yard, it'll take them literally 15 minutes and half of that will be the time it takes them to unload their mower, buzz it, and then go away.
Yeah.
Well, what, that new big old double car garage, you got room for G-scale in there, Bill. So you might need that G-scale track. Jerry, you guys can bid on it.
Well, I've got room where I could do what I want to do with O scale, N scale, and HO, where I could have each in an area, but still have all three scales come together in a canyon scene. So I've been thinking about that. I got a lot of stuff that I've got to plan.
How do you sleep at night?
Yeah, you're not gonna have enough time to do anything.
Your head must be like filled with all kinds of stuff for everywhere.
No, I sleep very well.
Okay.
Yeah,
Lynn, that's
kind of like Peppy Longstocking.
Maybe that's what I'll title some of these things for a while.
Oh.
So anyway, that's what I've been up to. It's been a busy week. It's been a productive week.
I imagine. Good gravy. That's more than I want to even think about in an afternoon.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I'm glad for you, Bill. I'm glad you're finding the stuff you want to find, and sounds like it's working out good for you.
It's just one of those things. It's when it's right, and you know it. So, like I said, as soon as I was driving up, the house looked good. They'd re-sided it. They'd done a new roof on it at the same time they built the garage. So it looks really good. But then driving up the street and then seeing that nice big garage and the sun was shining on it. So you get these like sun rays that's like,
Promised land, yes.
How far is it from Caboose Hobbies?
It is about 40 minutes.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, that's not bad at all. I'd drive 40 minutes for a good hobby shop.
Yeah. And it's, there's no HOA, so I can do whatever the heck I want to do. And there's a farm that's probably about 15 miles from there that had this really nice bass boat for sale. If by some chance it is still there when I do the close and I have the moving truck move a bunch of stuff there, going to talk to the guy and see what he wants for that bass boat. And it might end up going in the garage on the house.
You want to go fishing too? When are you going to find time to go fishing?
Well, I'll be back to the States maybe 3 months out of a year. So I'll have plenty of time to do things that I want to do.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. No, I'm jealous.
Well, you can just go visit, Claude.
I'm just going to spend my money this year. Then next year, it's like, nope, I've got everything I need. Now it's time to save.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, you got stuff to build with and all that. And are you thinking about maybe incorporating your HO that you have now into a bigger layout?
Potentially. Yeah. Or at least have some loops on the end so I can do a little bit of continuous running. And if I can incorporate it into that grand scheme of having, no scale layout, an N scale, and an HO, I can run off on the HO to the ends and have trains going around that canyon scene, like I think I've talked about before, and then loop back in and maybe loop around and then come back into the layout on the opposite side so that I don't have to put in any reverse or any complicated stuff. Because eventually I want to make this into DCC, but that's down the road a ways. So yeah, this, I even got potential where I can build that third section that I've been wanting to and have it attached to it permanently. So there's lots of stuff that have potential. It's going to be when I get everything out there and then I really look at the space and figure out what I want.
Yeah. Well, how big's the basement on the house?
It's the full size of the house. So it's a complete basement, partially finished, a nice little workshop in the utility room where the fireplace is. That's finished. They've got a bedroom down there, which is not up to code. They've got like a futon in there, but that could be an office or an inside shop or even have a layout there. A little bar and storage area. There's plenty of space. It's like 1,500 square feet house, not including.
Man, I could see trains just going from the basement into the new shop and back.
Yeah.
That's a gigantic loop to take me from the basement up and out.
Yeah.
I'm picturing the little neighborhood kids walking by going, don't go close to that house. This crazy train guy lives there.
You never know.
Everybody as a kid had somebody like that on the block, right? You had the one house everybody thought the person that lived there was crazy or evil or something. Yeah.
And they might
the crazy train guy.
That of me. You never know.
Well, yeah, it sounds like you've got stuff lined up pretty well. Yeah. Okay. I was trying to read chat here while you were talking, and I was trying to listen too. And of course, I missed all of it. Oh, here we go.
I agree with
thinking all of the Bill adventures. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was just
and what all that takes to do. Yeah.
It's.
I was just thinking here this last week how slow my life has actually become from what it used to be. It used to be, and of course, more day to day or more these days. Everybody's running everywhere. You're constantly doing something. And I got to thinking, I'm retired. I don't do anything. I go play golf once a week. I bowl on Sunday nights, and I go to church on Sunday. And other than that, I don't do much. Go to the grocery store with my wife on Wednesday morning and come home, put the groceries away, and then I don't do anything.
You're boring.
There's something wrong with that.
So it's amazing. And when I hear somebody running around like you're doing, I get tired, physically get tired.
Well, yeah, you're just boring, Claude, now.
I am. I'm very boring. You can ask my wife.
I'll just do it now while I still can. The bones ache and the joints creak, and I know there's going to come a day where I'm going to slow down. So get everything set now so that when I do become more sedentary, I can go outside and sit in Iowa and enjoy the weather as long as it's not winter, which I'll try to avoid Iowa during the winter. But play up the trains, both here, over in Thailand, all kinds of different projects going on, all different places. I'll be busy for a while, and I'm happy about it.
Make sure you have all your wheelchair ramps set in too, so you don't have to build those later on too.
Well, at the new house, it's the driveway into the garage. That's the only place that I need to go. The house can just sit there. Get a little refrigerator out there. I'll be fine.
Oh, man.
There you go. When you were talking about all the rafters in the ceiling of the new garage, they probably did that for the Iowa snow load.
Yeah, it's still, even for Iowa snow load, it's overkill.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised. 18-inch on center, yeah, and even 24-inch on center would bear Iowa snow load, especially in a garage that, at least right now, is not heated. It's not going to have that temperature differential, so wind will blow the snow right off the roof. It's not like it's going to, thaw and freeze on it. So I don't know. I'm happy they did it. It's going to be, it's robust, so I can hang stuff from the ceiling. I can do all kinds of things.
I wonder what they were thinking that they had to do that. There had to be a reason.
I don't know, unless somebody, whoever the previous owner or the current owner will be previous in a week and a half, what they were thinking. Maybe they had experience sometime where a roof did collapse and they didn't want it, or they got talked into it by their builder. But it affords, it's got a lot of space that's up in there, but with the spacing, you can't really access the space. So I'll talk to somebody and see if I can put in like a hatch and a drop down. And then, when everything is finished off, if nothing else, boxes and other stuff can go up, and I can put into storage up there because it'll support the load without any problem whatsoever.
Yeah. Jerry, I think I cut you off.
No, I can't see, Bill, that you will need storage because you have enough spaces for layouts that are going to take up all the stuff that you have.
No. I'll need storage. I have no.
I can't believe it, Bill. I can't believe it. You don't have that much stuff.
He's going to run. He's
things, but even like the work.
He's planning on running Caboose Stop out of business.
Yeah. I still got all of the tools from the days when I was trying to keep up with Norm Abrams. Well, I got most of them. The big stuff I had to get rid of. But
I think
Joe Rader hit that. He said the contractor only had a 1 foot gate, 1 foot ruler. That's why you work with
the old wooden ones. Just here's the wooden one. Okay, let's go here. Let's go here. I'm happy that it was overbuilt. It really, you walk into it and it's like, yeah, this is impressive. This isn't going anywhere. It's, it's built solid.
Yeah.
I think eventually when Carell and Merlin decide to retire, Bill's going to buy the place.
Probably not, but
and then have the guys run it.
Fine. Now I'm sure there's others that are down there that have already been talking to him about that. And, maybe I could buy in as a silent partner or something.
Yeah. Something.
Yeah. Be their spokesman.
Is Ian their son?
No.
Oh, he just works there.
Yeah. They've got kids. I've talked to a couple of them over the years, but
okay.
Yeah, Ian is just one of the regulars. It's like you got a hobby shop or any business. You've got the same group of people that tend to congregate. I'm one of the distant regulars. Ian is one of the regulars. Keith was one of the regulars. Keith works there now that he's retired. You got Laverne, who helps.
Ian doesn't even work there?
No, he actually works for, I think, the
Iowa. A regular job. Where does he work?
The Iowa Northern Railroad that runs through the town.
Okay. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And then Mark, you hardly ever see Mark. Mark usually is down in the basement. He's one of the club guys. So, they've got a group of folks that are good. It's like Wednesdays they go out to eat. I joined them when they went out to have lunch Wednesday. And, it's a fun group.
Sounds fun.
Anthony says he's looking forward to a slow model railroader life.
Well, Anthony, you got a great layout that you can do that. You can enjoy what you've been working on.
Yeah, that's always the plan, I think, for anybody that starts one, is to have something that they can enjoy when they get too old to do any of it.
Anthony, you should come on the show with us.
Actually, good.
We'd like to see your layout.
Yeah, we need to get you on here.
Yeah, I'll send you Claude's email. Email him. You get up early, so it's no problem with you getting up.
Well, he doesn't even have to. He's on the East Coast too, isn't he?
Yeah, but I mean, some guys, 10 o'clock is,
is early.
Is early for some people, I guess. I don't know.
Well, if I sleep past 7, it's rare.
Yeah.
So
Well, I can't remember the last time I woke up and the sun was up. So.
Oh, yeah, you get up early all the time.
Well, it's because he goes to bed at 7:30.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's old. Eats dinner at 3, goes to bed at 7:30.
No, I eat dinner when I get home from work, and then I go to bed, and then my phone blows up with you and Dennis chatting, and my phone buzzes and wakes me up.
You can shut that stuff off, right?
Yeah, you can. Hey, Steve, I got a question for you.
Okay.
Do you think you could go up in the attic and show us your dad's trains one day?
No.
Come on, Steve.
He didn't want to go up there. I know why he didn't want to go up there. It's a mess.
Is it?
Yeah.
No, we do need to get him up there one day. Just
it is dark. It's dark up there. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe
just go up there and take some pictures.
Maybe
you
one
get a
day.
drop light you can put up there.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to see.
Yeah, I'd like to see what your dad had.
Collection that he had. It would be pretty cool, Steve.
Oh, I was duly impressed, and as much with the cabinet that he had them stored in, but the trains that he had in there were pretty cool too.
Did you actually go up there, Claude? I don't know.
Yeah.
Did you? Okay.
When I was out there, I went up there.
Okay. Well, then
I stuck my head up through the deal. I think I was still on the ladder. There's not a lot of room up there.
Actually,
that's why. See, I didn't remember you actually going up there.
I don't know that I got completely up there, but I was up there enough I could see it because it was sitting. All the stuff was sitting pretty close to the ladder there.
How'd you get all that stuff up there?
Yeah.
How did you get the cabinets up there?
I put it all up there and then built the shop.
How are you going to get it out?
No, I moved it up there. I've got a fold down ladder that
so you can get it out.
I get up there, yeah. I'm not going to get it down here.
No, but I'm saying eventually when you go to get it out, you can get it out.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, but he's got the drawers come out of the cabinet, and he can take them down a drawer at a time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, what they are is they're boxes. I think they're Claude, like 36 inches by 18 or something.
Yeah, they were probably 18 deep.
Yay thick. And what he did is he set them up where they stack up on each one.
Oh, that's right. That's what it was. It wasn't a cabinet, that individual stacked, but it's still pretty cool. And he built all of it. That was impressive too.
Yeah, and he's got all his. I think he's got a UP City of San Francisco. There's
he's
a lot of yeah, it's all HO.
Georgia Sunbelt, are you talking about what I said to you that you should be on the show? I don't know. I don't know what blanked out. What you
that may be what he missed.
Yeah. We want you to go.
Well, okay. Well, that'll give me motivation to go up there and clean the attic. So one of these days we'll do
clean
that.
it. I mean, take pictures
We didn't
of
say you had to clean the attic. Just show us the train stuff.
We're not judging
I can't get to it right now because the stuff's buried. But I'll figure it out.
There you go.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's pretty impressive. And his dad used to, hand build switches and turnouts and stuff all before they had jigs for him. So
no, yeah. Well,
I think he's got some of that stuff too. Some of the homemade jigs and stuff that he.
Well, yeah, he made a cup. He made they're just jigs for building the frogs. Everything else he just.
Oh yeah, everything else is not too hard to do.
Yeah, no, he built all the turnouts in place. What he would do is mass produce the frogs for the turnouts, and then lay them all in place. That was way back. This was when I was a kid. So
Steve, do you have any pictures of your dad's layout?
No, my dad didn't have one. He belonged to a giant model railroad club, and they were HO on one side and O scale on the other. But it was mass, and it was all hand laid, everything, and it was big. It was really big. But yeah, he did all the turnouts on it, and there were hundreds of them. I mean, this thing was huge.
Nice. Yeah. Any pictures of that club layout?
No. Unfortunately,
that's too bad. Yeah, it'd be fun to see the layout and see some of your dad's work there on the track.
Well, I'd have to go look. I might have a couple of really old black and whites that aren't very good, but Unfortunately, no, not a lot of pictures, and if any. And the one that I built in my garage back in, it was 90, I built it 98, 99, and 2000, and then I had to tear it out to build a bedroom in the garage. But my layout that I had out there, I never took any pictures of it before I tore it down. Which
Oh yeah,
is,
that was back in the day when it was still film and not like phone where you can take 1,000
yeah,
pictures. Doesn't take
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was all, yeah, 35
Well,
millimeter.
and when you're younger, you don't think about, oh, let me take a picture of this so I'll have something to remember to be able
Yeah.
to show other people what I'm talking about. Yeah, you don't think about that.
No.
I mean,
Nowadays, you take pictures of everything just because.
because
It's not a
you've
problem.
always got the camera with you in your pocket, so you're always
Yeah.
taking pictures.
Exactly.
But
See
back
something
then,
cool, click. Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's
I've
like
got more pictures of my layout and stuff I've worked on for the layout than I do of my kids.
right.
That's,
And working,
that's pretty sad.
and working for the railroad, I wish I'd have taken a whole lot more pictures than I did.
Yeah. We just didn't do it. Yeah.
Well,
Didn't
you
do
weren't
it.
supposed to. First of all, it's against the rules. You'd have to carry a 35 millimeter camera around all the time. But I did do that. I do have, but I never took, the amount of pictures that I wish I had working for the railroad. I mean, I wish I'd have taken a ton, but I didn't.
Yeah.
But I did take a few.
Yeah.
Hey, Jerry, I've been kind of watching what you've been doing with that modeling cradle.
Oh,
Is that what you call that?
yeah, the airbrush.
Yeah, the thing that, yeah.
Yeah.
How's that? What brand is that? What is that?
Tamiya. No, I'll get it. Tamiya.
Mine?
Oh,
Because I know there's going to be a day where I'm going to be needing something like that. I've got a little foam cradle, but you don't want to paint in a foam cradle.
no, you don't want to do that. But it was $20. This is part of it, right? Spins, and it's got all these holes for. It comes with clips that go into these holes, but you can put sprues in these and rig something up to fit in these bigger holes. And then there's this little one that.
That's the one I think I was seeing that I was interested in. I was wondering how you attached, the
Yeah.
shell of the car on there.
These little springs, right? And
That's pretty simple.
they're all. Can you see?
Yeah.
They're adjustable, right?
That's
So
nice.
they get wider. It's pretty easy.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
What's the brand of those, Jerry?
Say again.
Who makes those?
Tamiya.
Mia. Okay.
You can get it on Amazon.
I like that. I also like the weathering job you were doing on that car. That looked good.
Yeah. Show us that again. That looks pretty good.
I mean, it's okay. I'm not done it, but I mean, it's the first car that I've kind of really
The rust looks like
weathered.
rust. It looks
It's
like
not
how rust
great.
should look.
It's okay. It's okay from 6 feet away.
That looks like those Santa Fe engines I was talking about seeing down in Galveston. That's what they all look like.
Yeah, all
rusting away. Yeah, that looks really good.
But yeah, this little thing is great. I mean, I wouldn't use it for a workstation. I mean, I would use it maybe to, I don't know.
Well, for airbrushing and stuff.
Definitely for painting. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I say, for doing putting trucks on cars and stuff like that, I've got the little foam V-shaped cradle to set stuff in,
The little
but you don't want to paint in something like that because it'll be all over your foam, and then that kind of tears the foam up. But
these are sprung, and like I said, they can adjust to all different heights. Yeah, you like this? My buddy John gave me this.
Roy would notice that.
Nice. I mean, spins. So for $20, like $21, it's $20.99, and that was even at my little local hobby shop that usually is higher on stuff. But I mean, like you can buy little Lazy Susans and they're like $8 a piece.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, they really did a nice job designing it.
Yeah, that I was curious as to how you were holding the shell on with it.
Yeah.
I didn't really see it in the pictures, but that looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's simple to do, and
I mean, like if you were really good with 3D, you could just make another jig to hold other things. Like I've seen some, like I saw this one. It was, I can't remember where it was made, but it was like a whole same thing, same principle. But there was like this jig that went a head that went on top that was these pin jaws. Like they would expand and contract so like you could hold like little tiny figures and all kinds of things. So like you could probably 3D print something that would do that, you know?
yeah.
I mean, there's like a lot of, I mean, it's like, yeah, everything's there, but you can expand on it and make it better, probably.
Hey, Claude, going back to, we were talking about my dad and the layout. This is actually an article that this was hanging on my wall. I don't know if you can see it.
Tilted forward just a little bit. No, forward, not back.
Forward, back.
Tilted forward, top down.
Is that your dad?
There you go, right there.
Yeah, that's my dad.
I was gonna say, can see the family resemblance.
Yeah,
But that's his brass cab forward and some Harriman cars. And of course he's wearing the Santa Fe hat that I gave him when I started with the railroad. But yeah, this was from an article in Livermore about it was 1980 when this, but it was all explaining the Model Railroad Club. But he was very proud of, all his model railroad stuff.
yeah, that's cool.
Okay, enough about me.
Well,
Gentlemen, I'm
I
gonna
guess you
drop.
guys remember. Are you leaving, Bill?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I got to get out of here before they show up here in a little bit, and I got to
Okay.
put some stuff away in the garage. So, see y'all later. Everybody have a good weekend.
Take care. You too.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Um,
I wonder if I get balloons going like I did earlier.
when it goes goodbye, yeah. Well, I think everybody saw last week I was showing you the little tram cars that are tram buckets for the ore tram that I'm putting in, and I was originally going to put in the Easy Line. I don't know how many guys are familiar with Easy Line, but it's made for telephone poles on model railroads and that sort of thing. And for that, it would be very, very good. For lines for the tram, not so much. If you've never had the stuff before, and I should have brought it in here with me, it's almost like a rubber band material. Very, very, very stretchy.
Yeah,
so the diameter's not very big. And it didn't take much. One of those little bitty white cast metal buckets, I had the line put in. I put one of the buckets on there, and it just went. I mean, it went halfway to the ground, and so that's not going to be a doable thing with that. I'm going to have to use regular thread so it doesn't stretch. Otherwise, I'll never get it put in. It took me forever to get the 4 lines put in because you've got the 2 lines that the buckets run on, and then you've got the line that would attach to the bucket and pulled it up and down the line. So you got 4 lines in there, and I got all those put in and put them got them glued to the towers and everything, and at each end, and then I put that bucket on there, and just I was getting really psyched because it was looking really good. I put that bucket on there, and it just burst that bubble real quick.
Can you use fishing monofilament?
Yeah, you probably could. I'm going to use thread. I've got some thread that's kind of a brownish rust color, almost a rail brown, that I'll just use that.
So what will you do? Glue them to the thread so they look like they're mid?
Yeah. I'll glue mine because it's going to be static. It's not going to move. I can't imagine doing this where it would actually work. To me, would be now if it was O scale and a little bit bigger, you could probably do that relatively easy, but
Do some guys
the HO size of the bucket is so small.
Do some guys have it working?
I'm sorry?
Do some guys have that working?
I don't know. In the literature that comes with the little model kits, it talks about if you want to do that. So I'm assuming somebody probably somewhere has.
I wonder how they keep it just from not sliding.
I don't know. Well, the way the tram works is you have the static line on the very top, and that's what the rollers roll on. That line doesn't move. Okay, the bucket can roll up and down. Then the line underneath that actually clamps to the bucket.
Oh.
And that's the line that moves and pulls the buckets up and down. So if it's, excuse me, if it's clamped to that, it's not going to go anywhere.
I got you. I thought it on there. I thought it just rested on the line.
It does on the top line.
It
Well, Anderson's got your answer right there. Ease line came from jewelry.
Yeah, easy line. They have some light wire, strong stuff to hold that. I'm just going to use thread. It's going to work just fine. But the easy line, I thought I'd use that way it wouldn't want to break, if I accidentally bumped it. But where it's at, it's going to be pretty much out of the way all the time. So I don't have to worry about that really too much. But the easy line was just too stretchy. I will use the easy line that I bought on the telegraph wires and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's perfect for that. I mean, absolutely perfect for that. You can have it glued to two very fragile things. Take a finger and push it all the way down 6-8 inches, and it won't do anything to these poles or whatever. Excuse me. Anyway, I was going to show you a picture that kind of came up, and I showed this to just sent it to Jerry. See if I can find it again now. Oh. Well, what did I do with it?
I don't know.
Ah, here it is. Okay. No, that's not. Is that it?
Dead air.
No, that's not the one I wanted. Anyway, it's a picture of.
Oh yeah, the picture of them climbing or riding those cars.
Riding the.
That's just crazy, man.
Riding the buckets up and down. Why am I not getting that now?
Because you need to find it. That's why.
I don't know what that picture is. Well, this is a link I put on there. I don't know why it's not the same one I sent Jerry, but.
Yeah, that's just nuts. It's on that text.
That's what I'm on, is the text. That's not what we want. We don't want that either. Well, I don't know what this one is. If this isn't it, we won't go. No, that's not it either.
Mike says, wax the thread to hide the stray fibers.
Do what now?
Well, he says, wax the thread to hide the stray fibers.
Oh, on thread? I won't have that problem. This thread is, it's a fairly thick thread. And it holds it pretty well. I don't know what happened to that picture, Jerry. Sorry about that. Anyway, it was a picture of the guys riding the tram up. Oh, Jerry's got it. Here we go. I don't know why it wouldn't show it on mine. Get there. Anyway, that's, guys sitting in a bucket and standing on the rigging for it, but that top line doesn't move.
Right.
Just the bottom line there does.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
Yeah, it really is. I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have ridden it up.
There's a bucket.
That's how they got back and forth to the mine a lot of times.
Yeah, it's nuts, man.
But it's an interesting feature, I think. For it, and so I had always planned on trying to do some form of that.
So did you finish all the buckets?
I've got all the buckets finished. I didn't get them put up. I was hoping to have them up, hanging up, and be able to show you a picture of that today. once I figured out the easy line wasn't going to work because it's just so stretchy. I haven't gotten up there to do the thread yet because it is pretty tedious work.
Are you painting them?
The buckets?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've already painted them. I actually
Okay.
spray painted them with a ruddy brown
Yeah.
primer, which works really good for rust because it's a rust color.
Yeah.
And I may use a little black wash or white wash over that. And then I still have to put the loads in half of them because half of them will have a load in it, the other half won't.
It's something like Steve's comment, but like, you know, they didn't have no fear about falling. The first thing I'd be afraid to fall, man.
That's the whole thing. If you go up, say you go up around Silverton, Colorado, and you go north of town up toward Animas Forks and stuff, and you see some of the pictures and some of the actual locations where these mines were, and where they worked, you would just shake your head because you try to get people up to work someplace like that today, as hard as those people worked back then. No, they wouldn't have. But now they were also mining mainly silver and or gold. And they were making pretty good money.
They're compensated pretty well, I would imagine.
But I wouldn't think that the lifespan of those people would have been very long. Especially if they stayed in the actual mining part of it. Wouldn't be easy work for sure. But anyway, yeah, it's an interesting feature, and I'd love to get up in that valley. I think I showed the picture last week where the tram is still there. The tram buckets are still there. Now they're on the metal towers, much more modern, but they used them up until just a few decades ago.
So were they mining coal or gold?
No, most of it's silver. They were mining silver, lead, tin, gold, whatever was in there, because a lot of the silver gets 2 or 3 other different ores that they can separate out. Copper is a lot of it with silver. So they would take all that and bring it down and separate it out and that sort of thing. And they were doing quite a bit of.
Now, how did they do that, Claude? Did they grind up the ore and then smelt it, or?
Yeah, well, you've seen probably. I know you've seen outside pictures of stamp mills. And a stamp mill, all it is a bunch of heavy cylinders on a rod that's hooked to a cam above it so that they would go kind of like a calliope or a merry-go-round, right? And when they came down, they would just free fall and drop the weight on the ore underneath. And then that would get pushed off, and then they bring more in, they do that, and they just ran those stamp mills all the time. And they just run it through that, and it would break it down. And then they would send it to the smelter, which would chemically separate the metals. But there was a stamp mill just north of Silverton, and you can see the ruins of it today. And in our room, we had a picture. Let me see if I can find it right quick. It was a photograph of the stamp mill when it was still being used.
So are they still mining this stuff?
No, not most of it's not. I thought I put a picture of that stamp mill in here. I apologize. I wasn't ready to actually show this, but it is pretty interesting. I think this is it here. Nope, that's not it. That's Eureka.
Anthony says hauling brick, block, and mortar. Today's youth would stub their noses. Kept you in good shape for football. Yep, they would never do it now. Our generation now would never do it.
Okay, here's the stamp mill that was in Eureka, which is was a town just north of Silverton. And you can see.
Is all that gone?
All of this?
Yeah.
Yeah, this was the stamp mill right here. And what you can't see, this was a photograph that was framed in our room at the hotel.
Right.
Now, when we went up to Animas Forks to go on the Alpine Loop, we drove by the ruins of this building, which are amazingly just the foundations up the side of the hill. And what you can't see in this picture, is my pointer showing up on there?
Yeah.
Okay, up here at the very top, and right in here, they had rail lines where they'd push the rail cars up and they'd dump it in the top.
Ah,
And it would work its way down through the stamp mill until it get to the bottom, and then they railroad it out in cars and take it on down to the smelter in Durango.
yeah, I see the rail cars at the bottom.
Yeah. So the line from Silverton to Durango today that you can ride is what they used. Part of that is what they used for the trip down to the smelter, because there was a smelter just south of where the rail yard is today in Durango. It's very, if you like history, it's very interesting stuff. You know, if you don't like history, it's boring, like my wife. she doesn't like any of that kind of stuff, but it is very interesting to me, and the life of what these guys, how they lived and what they went through. And then, like on Dennis's layout, you know, you see him show the pictures of some of the old towns and stuff. Wasn't an easy lifestyle. You know, didn't have the medical stuff that we have now, didn't have any of the advantages that we have now. And people just, I can imagine, would just say, no, there's no way I'd do that. Of course, they didn't have that choice. They did it to survive. So, yeah. But it's amazing how many people went to the mines and worked the mines.
Anderson needs to go back to bed. He
Well,
said I thought stamp mills gave us postage we put on packages. Anderson.
What's this he said too? He said, easier riding that bucket than it is taking a half day off to get to work. Half day to get to work. Yeah, I suppose. And of course, where they were riding those buckets up, that they were riding up to the mine or down from the mine, and they probably couldn't get there any other way but maybe a donkey trail or something that would bring supplies up. But most of their supplies, I imagine, once they got that tram put in it, most of it went up the tram.
Yeah.
And you can see some lines in around Silverton where they had them going up. You can see where they kind of like a chairlift at a ski area where they cut the trees out, and you can tell that's where they had something going up there. And it's too straight a line to be a trail.
Yeah.
Because it's a straight line going up a steep slope. So you know it's not a switchback trail. It had to be a tram of some sort. But they used it quite a bit.
So it's something that none of these still exist to be like tourist attractions.
Well, there is the one north of Silverton.
Is there?
Yeah. And Mike says, I'm sure OSHA would be fine with riding the buckets. Yeah, you know they would.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think they did anything back then that OSHA would approve of. Yeah, I think I showed those pictures last week. See if I can find it again right quick.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I think we got to get Anderson on the show. I think he would be interesting to interview.
Okay, here you go, Jerry. Here's that picture again. Put it on the screen. Okay, so right here you can see the buckets right here. These are hanging there now.
That's current.
I took this picture a couple of years ago.
Wow.
They went back up into this valley right here, around these peaks above the tree line, and they separated into 3 separate trams from there. So you had 3 different mines tramming stuff down to a central location, and then they brought it down on these buckets. And the mill that they brought it to across this road, which would be right behind where I'm taking this picture from. You can tour that mill.
Okay.
We didn't do it because we didn't have time, but you can tour that mill. And there's roads, there's old mining trail roads that go back up into this valley. We didn't go up there either because we weren't doing that day. And we had rented the vehicle just for the day, and so we didn't have time to go up there. But very interesting. And if you just like scenery, mountain scenery and stuff, if you ever get to Silverton, Colorado, in your car, even in your passenger car, it's a gravel road, but it's very flat, very easy to drive all the way up to Animas Forks. Not flat, but it's not 4-wheel drive type of road. And you can take it all the way up to Animas Forks, which is at 11,000 feet, and see the remnants that are up there. And they had some remnants of mines. They're redoing some of the old houses that were still standing. They're trying to keep those preserved.
That's cool.
But they had people there. Several hundred people lived there year round up until the 20s. So it's fascinating. Like I say, to me, if you like history, it's a great place to go.
Yeah.
What's Steve say? Today they wouldn't do work like miners did there, but jump off a building in the middle of the city with a parachute. Now that's yeah, that's true. Okay, what's the Ray says? Plymouth, Eureka, Southern Pacific, and Northern California has the remnants of the stamp mill and scale working model in the museum. Yeah, and I've seen people actually build working scale models of stamp mills. The one I saw was on Toyman's channel, and he was at a garden. Guy had a garden railroad, and I think that was in St. George, Utah, where he was filming that. And the guy actually had a working stamp mill. I say working; it moved. He wasn't actually stamping ore, but it moved. So you can kind of see how it worked. But it's a rudimentary deal, but it worked for them, and they were all over the place. So anyway,
Man,
that's all that stuff. What we got? We got about 3 minutes left. You got any more questions or any more things anybody wants to say?
well, no.
Hopefully next week Dennis will be back with us. We'll have recovered and be back with us, and I'm sure Bill probably will be too, since he's not.
And the following Saturday I'll be gone because I got to work that Friday, so I'm not going to be.
So that would be the 5th. The 5th of October.
Yeah, that first Saturday in October I won't be here.
Yeah. So anyway, well, and hopefully in the meantime for next week I'll have those little tram buckets hanging on my layout, and you can kind of see what it's going to look like.
You're going to work on the thread?
Yeah, I'm going to use the thread. I think it'll be a lot easier to put up.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll be any easier to put up, but it'll be easier to put the buckets and stuff on because it won't work.
Yeah, it'll work.
I was really so disappointed when I got it up there. The lines looked really good, and then I put
you do all that work,
and I'm like, oh.
Yeah. You do all that work and it don't work.
Yeah, and there's no way you can tighten it up.
Yeah.
Unless you just stretch it to the point where it won't stretch anymore. But then what's the point of doing that?
It might break.
It's hard to break it.
Is it?
I was surprised. Yeah, it's very strong. But it stretches so far, you've got to stretch it really far to get it to break.
Yeah.
And it comes in all kinds of colors and 2 different diameters. And it's very handy for doing telephone pole wires or wires like that. But if you got to hang anything on them, it's not good for that.
All right.
But anyway, all righty. Well, I guess we'll sign off a little bit early. That'd be unusual, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, not that much early, but yeah.
No, not that much early. Well, Jerry and Steve, thanks for being here. And Bill, too.
Always love it.
And guys, thanks for being here.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate you guys coming. And
really,
and by the way, I was thinking, we sell the T-shirts and the cups and all that kind of stuff on the Teesprings deal. I need to go in there. I haven't been in there in probably a year and a half into the site, but I know we've got money sitting in there that we were going to use for giveaway stuff. So I'll try to remember to get in there this week and see what we've got, maybe extract that money so we can buy something for prizes or something, and we'll do something like that. So don't forget to come back sometime. Anyway, have a great rest of the weekend and a good week. We'll see you next week.
Okay. See you guys later.
Take care.